Okay, so do you see what this says? Red wheat 2020. Look how nice that is, people. Hasn't moved. So this is, I think it's just hard white wheat. And I put some already in jars, and I took like 2 or 3 jars downstairs. And I got a jar over there, I think. So anyway, I kind of like it this way, you can see. But I brought this up so that when I start making flour, we could test this. Anyway. Okay, so I'm kind of pushing myself hard here. Right? I guess it doesn't go anywhere. That's as much as it goes. Somebody stole my recycling bin today. Emptied everything out, just ran off with it. I don't know, people. This is soft white wheat. I have hard white wheat, hard red wheat. This is soft white wheat. And then I ordered some rye in kernels. And I know. And something else, which is easier to digest. So obviously I got that for Amari, right, in mind. And I think something else. I don't know. Anywhere between 60 to 100 pounds worth of wheat still coming. But after that, I won't have to buy any more for a long time. Right. And it's only because of what our governments are doing, people. Otherwise, I wouldn't, I wouldn't have as much as I do. Right. I like storing it like this. Now, this is organic, so it should sprout. I can't remember if what I bought with that hard red wheat is. I don't know if that's organic. More than likely. Maybe. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. A lot of it is that I bought last year. Not everything, though. In those days, Go2Go was buying, or was selling 50-pound bags of wheat. I bought 2 of them. One hard red and one hard white. And then everything else that I bought, when it came to wheats and that type of thing, I got from Organic Matters. Right. So this year I really have to make an effort to start cooking with this stuff. Right. I've been rushing around like a mad dickens because I'm getting real tired of this. I just want it to end so I can get on with other things. Right. I'm having to put it all away now, right? Trying to figure out how I'm going to start selling stuff. A few things anyway. Let's see. Nice. So this is just a recap, right? If you haven't caught my other videos from last year, right? It's not as heavy as doing it in jars. Plus, I think in this situation, for you to want it to be like in a really good dormant state, I think this is the best in terms of long-term storage, right? Versus in here, even though I vacuum sealed the jars, but this one is just, you put it in the paper, right? The paper is the moisture barrier, because these seeds are organic, right? Wheat berries are organic. So the paper just helps it to breathe slightly. Where in here, if you have it in a jar, depending on where you have your jar can sweat, right? And because these are organic and are sproutable, right? If you put them in a jar and they're sweating, moisture condensates on the outside, and because the kernel itself, the wheat berry itself, can you see me? The wheat berry itself, if it gets real cold, will sweat. So there's I would think, a higher probability of the wheat, I don't want to say molding, but mildewing up, which, depending on where you put your jar, could produce mold if it sweated enough because of it being really, really, really cold. Whereas doing it this way, putting it in a box, right? And then covering it over with a blanket, I think when we opened that up, because it was downstairs in Auntie Shemay's room, right? And that room can get really, really cold. I think they're going to be in pretty good shape. And if they're organic, well, no, I don't think those ones are organic, because the ones from Go to Go, those 2 bags, 50 pounds, they weren't organic. So, but the other ones were, and they're in there too. So, I still have up in here as well. I just need a bigger kitchen, people. That's all. If I had a bigger kitchen and more counter space and stuff, it'd be easier to cook. But whatever. We'll be greasing. I just double bag it. Put the bag in first. And then start filling up between the two of them. Okay. So I'm wondering if it was one of my neighbors who stole my recycling bin. I mean, like, how rude can you get, eh? Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so soft white wheat is your standard wheat that you buy in a grocery store. Okay, I didn't know that. All right, I got 5 of these. You see? There's 3 in there, 2 more. And then I got a little left over in a bag here. Plus I've got this, right? But maybe we'll get Andre starting to grind up this one. Eh, Andre? Yeah. Okay, I am going to do a little video here. I think I don't have my computer on, people. I am so depressed. Is the camera dark or is it just the screen? Wait. I am so depressed, people. Okay, now, whether you... Who cares if you don't like it or you like it? Because nothing is holding you to watching these videos other than you're probably a busybody if you're a shit disturber. Or maybe you're just somebody that, you know, is in a similar situation, and not exactly the same kind of situation, but somewhere in your life, you know, something's happened and you're having to deal with similar situations like I'm dealing with. And, you know, you draw on my experiences and just how I communicate them so that you can gain better coping skills. Because when you're dealing with a situation like mine, people, it's extremely hard to maintain on those coping skills. Because you're always under attack in one way or another by the so-called quote-unquote teams. All right. Now I know I'm jaded. I'm slightly bitter because of all the things that's happened to my family in relation to quote-unquote the public union sector and their employees. You know, as a collective group within their different organizations and styles of operations. You know, so it's not like I have a lot of faith in the process, knowing what I know, knowing what my family's been through, and knowing what we still go through. Okay. I don't want to drag this out for too long, but I do want to say this because I don't want to say I'm at the end of my rope, because I'm not, right? Because I'm going down swinging one way or another. I'll fight to the bitter end. They'll have to kill me to shut me up. And, I mean, it's kind of like along those lines, just by wearing you down, right? It's that hyena pack. One picks here, one picks there, one picks snipe, 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 until there's basically, you're so wounded that you can't even get up, and then that's when they go in for the kill, kind of like with Sierra. That's what they did, people. They went in for the kill with Sierra, and they made sure they had their guards guarding the door as they recorded it. With a masochist sadist with his fucking beaded little, you know, his little masochist sadist fucking bracelet. That body bag guy looking in his cell phone, grinning, walking down the stairs, smiling, looking out to the streets, doing his fucking hand signal to the cops in their fucking vehicles, or whoever was out on the streets, letting them know that he got what he went in for, because he sure in the hell didn't go in for no fucking body, okay? Because if that was the case, the cop wouldn't have been asking him, did you get the stuff? Did you get this? Did you get it? No. Are you coming back? Are you done? Well, obviously he's not done. He didn't fucking take the body out in a body bag on a stretcher. Because there was something else going on, people, okay? They wore down my daughter so much for so long out in these fucking streets, having her shit in people's yards and doing this and doing that, and fucking had her here, had her there, doing this, doing that, right? Mistreated her in the fucking Surrey Memorial Hospital, right? Fucking putting bags over her head, stressing her out, you know, just doing all kinds of crazy shit. Never fucking gave her real health care, people. And now they think they can deny those records because they're trying to cover up fucking fraud. Okay. That's what it boils down to. She herself said that they were probably committing fucking pharmacare fraud, booking her in for fucking surgeries, getting her there, making it look like she'd get a surgery, and then somebody would come in, throw her fucking clothes at her, tell her to get dressed and to fuck off, knowing she was fucking homeless, knowing she was sick, and they still kicked her out after they booked in surgery. Moved her through wherever, got her ready, got her fucking prepped, and then said, fuck, the surgery was canceled, and then they kicked her fucking out, okay? I wonder why they don't want me to have her medical records, because somewhere in there, people, it's probably been documented that she had it, and the government paid for those surgeries that she never received. And that's just one thing, not to mention the bag over the head, with all the security guards standing around getting you-know-what. Watching, getting off on it with their, little masochist fucking bracelets. This is the kind of shit I've been dealing with for a long fucking time, okay? In 2016, I dreamt that Sinead died. I seen her, people. From here up, she was dead. In 2016. That's when she was in that small room. Because she had to go downstairs and give up her bedroom for Andre, even though Andre wasn't here for 15 months. Because the government held Andre as hostage to their politics. To prop up the court system, to prop up their fucking ministry, that Ministry of Children and Family Development, so they had their 1-year budget. Plus. And all the teams. 2016, I dreamt she died, and by 2018, she was dead. That's because whoever fucking killed her was plotting in 2016 to kill her people already. That's what that was. And it just took a little time for it to manifest itself out. And we already know that there's energy weapons going through my house because I got that one on video going over fucking Julian's fucking shoulder in the basement as he's raging on Shimei, accusing him of drugging him. Looking like a madman. Literally looking like a fucking madman. I wonder why. Maybe it had something to do with that energy weapon going through my fucking basement at that particular moment right over his fucking shoulders. Nobody can be surprised that Shimei's not, she couldn't have survived that, people. I mean, who would think? Who would think that someone would lace her cigarettes with fucking fentanyl and then stand over and watch her die? Literally stand over and watch her fucking die. Because that's what Julian did. He was standing over her when she was right in the middle of the fucking death rattle. Tisha didn't know. She just thought it was snoring. Okay? But Julian knew. He fucking knew exactly what it was, people, because he came out and he stood right over her, questioning Tisha as to why Tisha was in the kitchen. Well, I wonder why. It was Tisha's house. What the fuck was Julian doing in the house? He was killing Shimei. He was making sure it happened. Because him and somebody else was plotting in 2016 to do it. Well, something else is going through my house to make sure it fucking happened as they were booking her in for fucking illegal organ harvesting. She was booked in before she even got in there, people. Because her blood was already typed and everything. Okay? All through the teams. Well, there's more than one team. And they share their files, okay? Just remember that. All right. Shimei was a derailment from what happened to Uncle John. Amari was just a setup to prop up some fucking research study and to derail what happened to Uncle John, knowing that they were going to fucking go after Shimei. Because the dream already told me she was going to die. And being that there's energy weapons going through my house, it obviously influences people, doesn't it? Because if you looked at fucking Julian in that video, I'm serious, he looked like a fucking madman at that moment. But you see, Julian didn't kill Shimei by himself. He had help. It was premeditated, people. And not only was it fucking premeditated, but the minute she was fucking hauled out of here, they knew exactly what they were going to do in terms of taking her organs out of her body, just like they knew what they were going to do with fucking Sierra behind that closed fucking door, with the cops standing the guard. Okay? They knew. So, knowing what I know and being where I'm at, okay, I just feel like whatever they're doing with Amari now is just a follow-up to fucking keep me one derailed from holding my government to account as to what they did to Uncle John, Andre, Sierra, Shimei, Amari, just the whole 9 yards, because it's all entertainment for them, right? Yeah, we know. And then you lock up those files. You lock up those files at the Surrey Memorial Hospital with that entertainment, with all those fucking security guards standing around getting fucking hard-ons, watching her do this, watching her do that, and then finally you just come in and throw your bag over her head and then haul her off into some other fucking room and do a whole bunch of other fucking shit. All so that you can share your files within your hospital with those co-workers getting off on those little fucking... I swear they probably write stories. You know how you write short stories? All right, and then they sell them. If they're not fucking actually recording them on cell phone like they did with Sierra and behind that closed door, you know, and then selling it on the black market. Okay? I have it on video, people. Okay, I have it on video. I have the guy wearing his masochist, sadistic fucking paraphernalia on the job. I have the cop saying, did you get the stuff? Or is it, did you get the cell? Clearly it wasn't, did you get the body? He never said anything about the body because it wasn't about the body. Are you coming back? Are you done? Well, I don't know. He didn't get the body. You would think he would come back if, you would think that he wasn't fucking done, right? And then the guy standing at the bottom of the stairs fucking doing his little hand signals. Got it on fucking video, people. A big smile on his face as he's holding a fucking cell phone. Where's the body? Behind the door, being fed upon. Okay, that's where the body was. And then anything else went to the Abbotsford Hospital and they fucking salvaged it with the fake autopsy. It was a fake autopsy, people. It was just a means to further cut her open. And that's another thing you have to remember. Sierra said it. She said that whatever they were doing out here with the drugs out here in those days when she was alive, which I'm sure is still happening, they were somebody, all right? They were purposely going out killing people, okay? First of all, they were putting fucking fentanyl in everything, okay? Coke, methamphetamine, heroin, all ecstasy, all of it, okay? It's Russian roulette, okay? That was being done with intent to murder people, first of all. Something that the government does absolutely nothing about because there's too much money coming in with those dead bodies, okay? That's the first thing. And then the other thing is, not only were they putting fucking fentanyl in these drugs, but they were putting something else in these drugs to where Sierra herself said that the people's bloods are now having parasites in their bloods because of what is being put into the fucking dope. Okay, let's go now fast forward two years, pushing almost 3 years later since Sierra died in 2000, but she would have said that in 2017, 18, 19 while she was alive, about the parasites being put into the dope and then, it goes into the body, into the blood, right? And that's why so many people out in the streets are deteriorating to, really bad, including Sierra. And, they're talking about there's parasites in the dope to infect the people. And now we've got the shit going on with what our governments are doing to everybody now, not just the homeless people, okay? What the government is trying to do to everybody now, not just the homeless people, because they don't really need the homeless people anymore because they've done their basic fucking research. You got people saying that they're infecting these inoculations with some kind of fucking parasites. Don't be surprised, people. Sierra already seen it. Sierra already experienced it. Sierra already tried to warn people about it. Sierra paid the ultimate price because of it, people. Okay? As these so-called teams are protecting this criminal activity that clearly is abnormal, beyond fucking reason, okay? And very satanic and evil. So anyway, knowing this and just everything, and now I'm having to deal with more teams, people. Okay, that was the little introduction to what I want to say. Hold on a minute, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to say it, and then I'm going to show you some crock pots because I want to put them away. Just because, okay, of what our governments are doing. Just remember, if our governments weren't doing what they've been doing to the degree that they've been doing, I myself wouldn't have gone to the degree that I've gone to, even though most of what I've done is probably pointless, okay, because I'm still under attack, all right? So hold on a minute. Okay, so just keep in mind now, I'm really depressed, okay? Extremely depressed. I have a lot of pressure on my head, right? Obviously, eyes are a problem, right? But you see, that's the game, people. That's the game, okay? That is the game to keep their agenda going forward and to derail anything that I want to do. It doesn't matter what it is, okay? It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter, people. All right? That's the thing about the public union sector. They come first before anything else, okay? Although they put on that charade by saying, we're here to serve you, the public, okay? It's just hogwash. All right? That's that devil speaking with forked tongue, okay? Because if that was the case, all these so-called teams that I come into contact, you would think that they would acknowledge that something is up, something is fishy. You know, that there's criminal ranks within their fucking workforce, okay? But they don't. They condone it, people. They condone it. They cover it up, and they mask it over by attacking you in one way or another, so that one, you become either depressed, so you know your coping skills are lowered, your immune system is lowered, you know you're easier to attack again because you're weakened, right? Okay, so I'm bouncing with everything here. I shouldn't have turned off the camera, because after I turned off the camera, my brain was going, and I'm like, well, I need to mention this, and I need to mention this, and I already forgot. So besides that point, in the last, I don't know, 40 days, people, okay? I don't have it all written down here, but in the last 40 days, a month and a half, and we'll just say a month and a half, in the last month and a half, these people, these individuals, these teams, whatever, okay, they have had Amari go out to them, right, into their environments where there's multiple people at one time, okay, and strangers going in and out of these facilities wherever they've got Amari going, all right, 5 times in the last 45 days. First, it was the feeding team. Oh, no. Okay, I don't have it exactly down. He's seen the pediatrician, right, for his, I guess, yearly update. I guess that's what that was, right? Because don't forget, Amari's an extremely happy child. You hear it, you see it, right? I don't hide it, right? I mean, those people at the hospital when we went to go talk to the hip doctor, I mean, there was no denying that Amari is an extremely happy, alert, active, interactive, happy child. I don't know what these individuals want, people. It's like they want him to be miserable, sad, and sick, and sickly. It's like that's what they want, because they never acknowledge how well he's doing. They just don't, people. They just don't. They're always looking for something fucking negative, and if they can't fucking find it, they're gonna create it, okay? That's what's gonna happen with the hip surgery. It's gonna be created, and it's gonna be compounded in terms of pain and all this other shit for years. It's not just cut and dry, a 1-year process, okay? It goes longer than a year, all right? And that's assuming that there are no issues. Ultimately, though, it's the doctor that's creating the trauma on a supposition that he's going to prevent future pain, because he's hooked up into a study, a research study by default of what the program that Amari is plugged into with all these other teams that are egging it along. Well, everybody refuses to acknowledge how Amari even got into that place in the first place. They're working twice as hard to cover up the fact that he was injured at the time of his birth, people. Are you hearing what I'm saying? He went and seen the pediatrician in the pediatrician office. Now, don't forget, we've got Dr. God, Dr. Death running around making everybody fucking paranoid. 5.6 million people in the province of British Columbia, Canada, completely paranoid because we're in the middle of a pandemic. And everybody's supposed to social distance, put on masks, stay away, stay at home, right? Go live under a rock, okay? That's the order. Go live under a rock. But you know what? For whatever reason, these people seem to think Amari's just this social fucking butterfly, okay? They got him going to the pediatrician, then he goes to the feeding team, then he goes to the eye doctor, then he goes to the hip doctor with a whole fucking group there, right? Then he goes, and then now he has to go back to the feeding team because everybody refuses to listen to what I have to say when I'm saying, well, I know Shimei's body. Shimei was light as a feather. I could carry Shimei around when she was 3-4 years old on my hip, even though she looked like a, right? Because her body density was completely different compared to Tisha. I've explained this to Tisha, and Tisha now with her little baby, the little boy that, she just had is 3 months old. He's already 20 pounds and she can feel it. And I said, exactly, because he takes after you, like with your body density, so that by the time you were 2 years old, I couldn't even pick you up for not even a second because your body density was completely different than Shimei's density. Do you think any of these people would fucking listen to that? No. No, people. They use Amari's natural state against us so that they can keep themselves busy with looking for things to complain about as they completely ignore the fact that he's healthy, his immune system is strong, he's happy, he's alert, he's thriving, he's growing. They don't acknowledge any of that, people. They're just too busy trying to figure out how they can fucking hurt him so that they can be involved with their God knows what. Hurt him in terms of cutting him open to prevent pain based on a study. As they share their files and make me fucking depressed. Okay? What better way to get to Amari than to make me feel fucking depressed, than to make me feel like a piece of fucking shit here that can't accomplish nothing based on their professional fucking opinion. But not one of them will stand up for Amari and say, yeah, something shady happened at the time of his birth, and maybe the government, if the government really cares about kids, maybe the government should clean up the fucking swamp. But you see, they don't need that to happen, people, because they need the kids for their studies. They don't want to clean up the swamp, people. They want injured kids. Because without the injured kids, there would be no study. They have to have a quota. They get funding for it, people. How do we know? How do we even... I'm not saying that student doctor or whatever he was with his doing this with the hips and bending Amari's leg like this and like this and like that and like this. It was crazy. I got up, I stood up, and I'm like, can I even do what you're expecting him to fucking do? Because he was doing it, right? Measuring with his little... How do I know that doctor didn't fucking do something and injure Amari? You think I'd get the truth on that one? No! Before they'd fucking take any responsibility, they would blame me. You didn't give him enough peanuts, Judy. It says right here in this fucking file. Who wouldn't be depressed when you're being fucking gang-stalked by a program? That's how I feel, people, based on my own experiences already with what's happened to my family. Amari is just the icing on the cake. Amari is just a distraction away from what they did to Andre. Amari is just a distraction away from what they did to Sierra. Amari is just a distraction away from what they did to Uncle John. Amari is just a distraction as to what they did to him at the time of his birth. Amari is just a distraction as to what they did to Shamay. And now they're going in for their fucking kill. They're really going to injure him this time, and they're not going to be held to account because they're going to force their way into that consent, one way or another, through their sharing of fucking files, knowing that they're wearing me down because they got some sort of fucking pedestal that I will never, ever, ever be able to live up to because they can never fucking acknowledge that 1, he's happy, 2, he's fucking thriving, 3, he's fucking healthy, he has a good immune system, he's alert, he's interactive, he's more than what you could expect for what happened to him, people. He is more than what you can expect for what happened to him, people. And they know it! And they want to destroy it! So they can justify their employment, and then once it's fucking all said and done, they'll just move on to the next kid. Because you know those kids are going to keep coming. Because they're being injured at the time of their birth. As the fucking hospitals deny access to the files, people. That little boy, or maybe it was a girl. All I know is, when I left that fucking office at the hospital, that room, and I started walking to the hall. I guess that we're done now, right? And there was a child, a small child, in a little wheelchair, like this, right? Because they mentioned, you see, that's how they do. They like to just drop the cue, right? They mentioned in that meeting that they would give me a wheelchair so that he could sit like this with his legs in their fucking brace for fucking 8 months to a year, okay? Because that's basically what they're confining him down to after they cut him open and do what they want, even though they don't know what the fuck they're gonna do until they get in there, because it's all a fucking study, right? We got that already figured out now, okay? All right? So, anyway, I'm walking, so of course I notice, and being that they made me think about it, because they already, suggested that they would give me one of those types of wheelchairs, because in their minds, they're already gonna fucking follow through on cutting him open, regardless of what I say at the end of the fucking day, because they're the ones with all the fucking files, they're the ones with all the fucking teams, they're the ones that are the occluded group of, I don't know what I'm dealing with here, but they say they're in the, they say they care, people. They say they care. Well, if you care so fucking much, why did you fucking acknowledge that he's fucking happy, right? Why does he have to perform for you on that fucking bed, showing you how fucking happy he is, so you can sit up there and be two-faced and completely fucking ignore it? Because the agenda is to cut him open, put him in this fucking chair, and leave him there for a year or more. Okay? And that's not supposed to affect me? Yeah, okay, as I'm expected to jump through more fucking hoops because this team says I didn't do this right. This team wants this done. This team wants this done. This team wants us to bring Amari in the fucking wheelchair to go see them so they can document whatever the fuck it is they want to fucking document because they're still not fucking done doing what they're doing. Anyway, that little child. Now, I guess the mother was sitting next to the child. That little child had their head down. The hair was as black could be, people. The hair was as black could black be. As black could be. And I kind of stopped. I bent down a little bit. The child did not respond. The child did not respond. I couldn't see the face, people, because the child had the face down. All I could see was the black hair. And I said to the mother, or whoever that was, I said, didn't really want to push it because, you know, Tisha was already on her way. I don't know what to say. Right? And I don't even think she understood what I said. Because she probably didn't speak fucking English. Right? Right? Not getting all the information, right? Right! So anyway, she just, meh, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to push it. Because the child was not responding, people. The child was not responding, people. Was that a setup? Was that fucking doctor running to the Uncle John's room just to make sure that when I came in, I'd see him standing there over Uncle John, and then he came in with his bullshit crap talking about, oh, John, his infection is gone, you can take him home today, but if you take him home and he falls and he breaks his hip, how would you feel? What if you broke your hip? How would you feel? What if you both broke your hip? How would I feel? Maybe we should just let John go over here for a little while for rehab, because we're not going to tell you that we're in the process of transferring his mail and that we're going to fucking stick it to all of you. Once we get his mail and we get access to his bank, we're going to fucking rob everybody fucking blind. And then we're gonna lock Uncle John up like a dirty fucking secret. And that's what they did, people. They just didn't expect me to fight as hard and to continue talking about it after all these years. We're pushing into 6 fucking years here, okay? In their mind, they attack you thinking that you'll learn your lesson and shut up. I have never shut up, people. I don't plan on shutting up, people. Okay? I can't run away from this rotten, stinking, fucking province called British Columbia, Canada. And nor can I run away from this rotten, stinking, fucking country called Canada. So I stand my ground. I was born in this country, and it's being invaded by fucking aliens. Whether figuratively or literally. You figure it out. All I know is I'm in the pit of fucking hell with them right now. And I've been in the pit of hell with them for a long, long time. And they make me depressed. How does that help Amari? The only way that would help Amari is it makes it easier for them to do what they want to do under fabricated fucking bullshit lies so they can follow through on their studies, make their backroom deals in the event that he should die, and then transfer his body to the Children's Hospital operating team that likes to take out organs from little teeny weeny children and put them someplace else, because that has been included into the ministry budget under health care. So it's no loss for them. As a matter of fact, it's a fucking gain, especially if they're wheeling and dealing under the table with their laundered money. And that's what Shimei showed us, people. So before they will acknowledge what they did to Shimei's body, they'll fuck with Amari's body so that, you know, you'll forget what happened to Shimei. Because you're too busy all wrapped up into trauma with what they're doing with Amari. As they keep you running between fucking teams.
as everybody denies that Amari is a happy child, and he's actually doing really well, considering what their kind fucking did to him. Their kind! Because they're sure in the hell not my kind! The only thing I got to think is, maybe they think they're not going to end up like an Uncle John when they get old and they get to start cashing in on their pension plans and all this other shit. Maybe they think that they're going to be fucking safe. But you know what? Considering what the government's been doing to a whole lot of old people, I don't know how safe these things think that they can actually be by the time they reach retirement age. Honest to fucking God. Okay? You think the killing spree is gonna fucking stop anytime soon unless we the people make it stop? No, people, it's not gonna stop. So for these ones that prop it up and just keep pushing the envelope for the stakeholders, which aren't even in this country, weren't born from this country, sooner or later, you know what they say, karma's a bitch. They'll be like, okay, now I can finally retire and I can live the good life. No matter how many people I hurt in the past, it doesn't matter because my government told me so. Yeah, wait, your turn's coming. Your fucking turn's coming. Okay? That's the only thing that I can think that makes any sense in terms of, justice. Because there is no justice for Amari. There is no justice for Uncle John. There is no justice for nobody. Because they got that base covered too. You go to the courthouse and all you're dealing with the same kind of individuals. Right? That's it. So I don't know where any of this is going to go, people. I really don't. Right? I really don't. Because I don't feel like they're trying to help my grandson. Just by the very fact that they keep me fucking running here, running there, running, as they're making their little, we're going to cut them open and, we're doing it for the, to prevent pain and, and even though blah, 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 blah. And then, at the end of the day, right, they're just going to keep doing what they fucking want to do, right? Right? And then when it all comes crashing down, they're going to blame me for it because I'm not going to be able to make him happy anymore, people, because he's going to be so fucking miserable with whatever these individuals did to him. Because they never acknowledge it. They don't want him to be happy. Honest to God, I really think that. I really think that they don't want him to be happy, healthy, and safe. I don't, people, because if that was the case, they would acknowledge that he's fucking happy. They would acknowledge that he doesn't get sick. Why? I don't go to the doctor. Why? Because he's not my family doctor? You know what, people? If Amari was sick, Tisha, more than willing, will take him to the hospital if it need be. Take him to the clinic. Doesn't matter what clinic. Take him to go see the family doctor. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that Amari doesn't get sick. So he doesn't need to go. Unless, of course, they call him in. And when they do, it's back to back to back to back to back to back. As you got Dr. God saying, stay home, don't expose yourself to a killer disease, because if you do, you're going to put a strain on the healthcare system, and God forbid if you do that. But yet, it's the healthcare system that is causing the injury, people!
Okay, so I'm going to finish this video. I've been waiting for this for a while now to finish this part, right? Not going to get into too much detail, okay? Do you see this? This is a crock pot, okay? A different kind. It's called I don't know, some water thing, right? I bought this one because it's a little smaller. I'll probably keep this one out so I can experiment with it because it's a different kind of way of doing things. Right? Now, we know I got from Ohio, the Ohio stoneware, the 2-gallon crock pot I showed you. Okay, it's sitting over there. I gotta go I'm gonna put it away now because I'm gonna show you this. I was supposed to get something similar like this, being made from the veterans in Ohio, a little larger. But it was canceled, people. It was canceled because of what's going on
in the economy. Okay? Not only are people prepping, right? And you know, buying extra and those kind of things. But these things are becoming a little harder and harder to find. In part because, you know, people aren't working as much as they used to because of what our except for in Amari's case. Right? Everybody's on the ball with Amari. You know, they got me running out every 2 weeks with Amari. Like I said, once they cut into him, they're going to have me running out with Amari like this every 2 weeks. As if. And then when he comes down with an infection, who are they going to blame? Obviously not themselves. But that's not what we're talking about here, right? Because I already had my little rant. But I'm extremely depressed here, okay, people? And I just want you to just keep that in mind. It's like they want me depressed. Wear down my immune system. Anyway. The one I wanted originally, the orders just weren't being filled. And then through shipping, things that did get shipped out, a lot of it was broken and completely ruined by the time it got to the person who purchased the items. Actually, I was told I was very lucky that mine came in one piece. So I'm going to bring it back out of the box, put it here with all three, and then we're going to take a nice picture of them because I've been kind of like holding out, waiting for this last one to come in. Now, this one's a little larger than the one I would have gotten if it would have came in from the, you know, the Ohio stoneware that the veterans make. But they just can't fulfill their orders, people. They just can't. They don't have enough workers to make the pots, the crock pots, and the shipping is too much of an issue, right, in terms of just what's been happening in general, right? So Go, where I purchased the crock pots from, ended up giving me this choice for $10 more than what I already paid for the one that should have came from the veterans. But they just can't get them because they're just not available. And the shipping is too unpredictable, even if they are available, but they're not even available, right? So I ended up getting this one yesterday. So now that it's here, I'm opening it up and we're going to look at it. And then we'll put it back in this styrofoam and put it back in the box. And I'm going to put it downstairs with the food storage. And then maybe just next year, depending on where we're at in life, people, okay? It really all depends on what our governments do and what the government's workers do around what our governments do, because it's the government that it's the government workers that prop up the fucking government, okay? At the end of the day, it's the union that runs the government, okay? Everybody's hiding behind everybody. Well, nobody takes any responsibility for shit. But if you notice, they're all prospering for the most part. Well, everybody else, like in my situation, you know, we're just losing our family members one by one. Anyway, I gotta stay focused on these crock pots, okay? So, next year, because I won't be doing this food storage next year, people. I don't need to be ordering wheat and beans and lentils and peas, and I don't need to really be canning meat or any of that. And if I do, it's just because, right? Because I have it, okay? But I might send my son to the farms, okay? And because this is 15 liters, I don't know how many gallons. It's over 3 gallons. It's a 3-gallon crock pot. Now, I have one that's even bigger than that from the good old days from the 1950s that were made. I thought it was in the States, but I guess they were made in Alberta. And some of them have lead in their paint, some of them don't. So, you know, if worse came to worse and everything really tanked and, you know, you had to really get back into the good old days, as my Uncle Nick would say. My Uncle Nick warned me about this, right? I've got even bigger crock pot that I could use if I had to in order to be able to preserve food without electricity. Because that's kind of one reason why you kind of use crock pots, right? It doesn't rely on electricity. Plus you get the probiotics and the food lasts for a long time. That's why I bought extra salt and stuff like that, just in case. Did you know that you can actually preserve meat and animal fat? Apparently so. Anyway, I can send my son to the farms, right? And he can go off and buy me a whole bunch of pickling cucumbers, and I can just throw them into the crock pot, and I can ferment them, and then I can jar them up and either put them in the fridge, and they'll sit forever. We're talking forever. As long as nothing gets underneath and molds up, they're good forever. Or I can can them through water bath at 190. And I have videos on that. Okay? Either or is I'm good to go for cucumbers next year. Because that's probably the first thing that I would do. Or I would do a very big batch of sauerkraut and then I jar them up. Whether I can them at 190 or whether I just put them in jars and put them in the fridge and let them sit like that remains to be seen. Or anything that I want to ferment. But those would be the first two things that I would use for this. And because it's big enough, I can do a big batch, which would get me more than 12 jars. And if for whatever reason the economy tanks, especially for people like me, who are not criminals, who do not exploit vulnerable people or vulnerable families or vulnerable children, okay, so that I can sit high and mighty on a fucking mountain, pretending that somehow I'm so much better and special and deserving than anybody else around me, okay? And I'll be able to deal with food, with or without hydro. It won't matter. All right? So whether I do it for fun or whether I do it for necessity remains to be seen. And that's assuming that I'm even alive after it's all said and done, being where I'm at in life with things. Okay? All right? I just wanted to do it this way, and as I was dealing with getting this one replaced, even the woman who was working with me on that to replace the original one that I ordered said, get it now while you can, because it's getting harder and harder to find these things, okay? So if you don't have a decent crock pot, yes, you can do them in jars and da-dee-dee-da, but, you know, I would say it's worth the investment to do it this way, because once you have it, you have it. You can, you know, get 2 different sizes. I chose 3 different sizes, right? And then, you know, they come with their specific weights, right? But of course, you can still do things in jars, right? So, you know, have a variety of things. I can do in jars. I can do in my bigger jars. I can do in the crock pot, this crock pot, that crock pot, that crock pot. And if I, you know, if it got real bad, we still have that crock pot from the 1950s. And that one is even bigger than this one. But right now we're going to pull out this one and we're going to take a boo at it, because once I show you, I'm putting the 2 big ones away. And I'll probably leave out this one. And we'll experiment with that one just for fun. And see what we get. So hold on a minute. Okay, by far, I like this one the best. Right? But, again, the company that, you know, third-party company that sold this to me and had it imported into Canada from Ohio, and these are made by vets. The company itself is having a real issue with retaining workers and shipping. Shipping is a big problem. So what I ordered in terms of this style, I couldn't get. It had to be replaced with this product. I would have preferred to get it from this company, but that didn't happen. Okay? Instead, this is what I got. You can see it's 15 liters. It's called a water seal crock. I've never used them before, but this, like I said, will be good next year for either making sauerkraut and jarring them up, whether I can them or whether I put them in the fridge, and same thing with pickles or anything else, okay? This one was just because it was small, and it kind of will get me learning how to use this particular crock pot. Now, this is your traditional crock pot where it's well made. And again, I was told I was lucky that mine came in one piece. So I feel very blessed. But look how thick this is. Do you see? Do you see how thick that rim is? Like, this is one solid crock pot. This in itself is like, oh God, at least 10 pounds, if not more. And then, of course, we've got the weights at the bottom. Okay, so we've got the traditional crock pot that came from the United States, made in the USA by veterans. I wish I could have gotten what I ordered in terms of from that company, right, Ohio Stoneware. That was a 3-gallon, but shipping and just lack of products, and eventually, because the order was on hold for like 3-4 months or whatever, they said, well, we'll either give you back your money, or you can choose this product if you want and pay $10 more. And then we were chatting on the phone, and basically she said they're harder and harder to find, and that she herself was going to scoop up on one, because you just don't know, people. Right? Now, these ones came from China, and I pointed that out to her. She said she didn't know, but this one has a slight flaw in it. Where's my finger? You never really see in this. Here we go. Right here. I don't know why I have such a hard time seeing with this. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see that at one point it was chipped, and then they put something over it. You can see it. You can actually, they painted something over it just to repair that. So I don't know. I'll let the company know where I got it from, and I'll take a picture and I'll show them. But for what it's worth in terms of sending it back and getting a replacement, I mean, I don't know. It seems to be okay. But the first thing that I'm noticing is that it's very, very thin. You know? And the whole thing itself is, like, I'm sure if I would have gotten what I initially requested in terms of Ohio Stoneware, it would have been a completely different product, and I would have been much more happier. But in the sign of the times, because of what our governments are doing, these things are becoming hard and few and hard to find. Like few, you know, right? Few and hard to find. Few in between and hard to find, right? So if you can find it, you better buy it, because next year they might not be around. And if they are, who knows what the shipping's going to be like, right? That's the point. Who knows what the shipping's going to be like. So I'm good. I've got 2 different sizes, plus I've got my mason jars, plus I've got other jars, you know, the 1-gallon glass jars, right? So, and then if I really need it, I have my one that's a collector's item from the 1950s, and that's a 5-gallon. That's big. That one's like twice the size. Well, not twice, but it's a good, probably a good third more bigger than what this other one is. I think it's a 5-gallon one, right? If I ever should need it for anything. This one I'm happy with the most, right? You know, it brings me to the farms. It makes me feel like I'm being successful with fermenting before I even start, that is, fermenting. So if you can find the Ohio Stoneware, I highly recommend purchasing it, because it's sturdy. It's a very nice, sturdy, solid product. Where these other ones, this one is supposed to be sexy on the counter. That's kind of how they sold it, right? Well, it's sexy, it's small, but it's sexy and it looks good on the counter, and you know, and you get good food out of the deal, and we'll even throw in a little cookbook, right? And one of these. So, you know, and of course you've got your little weights, right? So, you know, I mean, I didn't pay a lot of money for it, and I thought, well, that's a good way to start learning how to use the big one, because at first I thought I was going to get the one from Ohio Stoneware, but that didn't come in, so I ended up getting that one, and now that I have it, you know, in my mind, I'm getting ready to make pickles or sauerkraut in a big batch after my son goes to the farms and picks up, you know, in bulk for me, that kind of stuff, right? And then I'll can. So I might be canning something next year. It might be more like pickles and sauerkraut and that kind of stuff, right? You know, a homemade Korean kimchi. See, I don't eat stuff like that. Spicy kimchi with shrimp. I don't know what kimchi tastes like, but either or. Sauerkraut German style, right? Sauerkraut Eastern European style. Okay, I bought a book, a fermenting book. You think I can find it? No. That's why I want to put this stuff away. But before I put these other ones away, I wanted to wait for the big one to come in so I could show you, right? Fermented cabbage with beetroot. Oh, that sounds good, right? That actually sounds pretty good. I might do that one with the small one here, right? Georgia fermented tomatoes. That's interesting. Maybe we should try that. The reason I go like this is because, I don't know, just the way you know, I'm trying to see in the screen to make sure that you can see it. All right? We'll just finish, see what else is here. Pickled summer cucumbers. Right? Here goes my eyes. Pickled pearl onions. Especially if you make them sweet. Oh, I would do that, people. Oh my God. I love baby sweet onions pickled. Oh, I could eat a whole cupful at a time. That's what I'm going to make for sure. Indian style carrot pickles. Might try that too. Right? I just bought a whole bunch of spices. And I'm putting them in good containers, right? And vacuum sealing them and got them tucked away in the dark, right? So there you go. And that's just one little book. Now I did buy a bigger book. I don't know where it is. I kind of lost it. I put it someplace. But as I'm putting things away, I'm sure I'll find it, right? So there you go. Okay? I'll just take a little boo. I'm ending this video now, right? This one I'm going to keep out, and I'm going to maybe do something in here. We'll start with that just for fun to see what we get. And then I love this one. This one I really love. Thank you to the veterans. They're doing a really good job with these crock pots. It's really too bad that they're having such a difficult time. Many veterans are already being threatened to lose their disabilities. They're being threatened to not receive health care because they don't want to fall in line with the old okie dokie, right? You know, social distancing and all this other crap, and stay home, and, you know, don't breathe, and right. But yet they got me going out with Amari every 2 fucking weeks with group after group after group after group, as they're all plotting and scheming how they can cut him fucking open because they're trying to prevent pain, as none of them are acknowledging that he's a happy little child. Like, it just doesn't make any sense, people. Okay? This is okay. I'm happy with it, in part that I know what I'm going to do with it now, but I would have preferred the one from Ohio, because I think I would have gotten into more thicker, heavy-duty, a crock, right? Where this is, I don't know, this seems very fragile, easy to break, and it's already been repaired. There we go. Do you see? Do you see how it's been repaired? It's been repaired. So I don't know what they used to repair it. I don't know if that's going to leach into anything. Shouldn't really matter though, because it goes into the lip.
There we go. What can I do? I need my pitcher for Beetroot. Oh boy. YouTube just gives me what they want to give me when it comes to pictures. Unless, of course, I want to crop and do all that, but I don't got time. Okay, I'm just going to maybe take it from there. Hold on. Don't even know how to take pictures. Oh my god. How do you take a picture on this camera?